red internet land.
Are we ready? We're waiting on Chris.
We need to clap or something.
Yeah. All right. We welcome everybody here. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to be here this day. We're grateful for this group that we serve with, and grateful for all the teachers and administrators that surround us, and for this community. We ask that as we meet here and go through our agenda that we will be able to make decisions and do those things which will both benefit our community and the students that attend our schools. We ask to please bless us as throughout this week, that as we have more weather coming, that everyone will be safe in their travels, and that we'll make good decisions in the things that we do for our activities. We ask thee that we will do those things here tonight that will be pleasing unto thee, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. All right. Future board meetings. Next one's February 25th, March 11th, March 25th, all here at 6 o'clock at the administration building. I don't think there's any revisions to the agenda. We'll move on to public recognition and donations. Recommendation to approve a $100 donation by Christine and Troy Hopper for Northfield Girls Basketball Pinkout. And a recommendation to approve a $300 donation from Crum Farms for Northfield Girls Basketball Pinkout. Need a recommendation and approval for that?
So second.
Motion and a second to approve these donations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We'd like to thank those that donated and for the efforts that they give to help our basketball teams and all those athletics. You have a couple things?
Yep,
All right.
couple recognitions from Mr. Snyder at Northfield. Congratulations to Ellie Baker, who became the 7th Lady Norse Basketball 1,000-point club member. Ellie scored her 1,000 points on Tuesday, January 28th at Peru. So we want to congratulate her. Also, we want to congratulate the Northfield Wrestling Final Four. Cooper, when I say final, they're going to semi-state. So it's Cooper Good, Braden Rice, Cameron Pratt, and Eli Gale, for all advancing from the Peru Regional last Saturday. We'll be wrestling this Saturday at the Fort Wayne Semi-State. Cameron Pratt and Eli Gale came away as regional champions. Best of luck to these remaining 4 at the Fort Wayne Semi-State on Saturday. And I do want to mention too, it's not here, but I have that information. I was going to share that with you, school board, later on, but 2 of them actually, Cameron, I believe, maybe I don't have this exactly right, but I think he's like 40, oh, now I lost it. I think it's 41 or 43 wins this year. I think Eli, 41. Well, no, Eli has 44 wins. He's 44, so he's undefeated this year so far. So we wish them well. And we do know that we also have a Southwood wrestler, Nolan Heiner, that will also be going to semi-state this Saturday. So wish all them well. It's a big deal to get to semi-state, and we do have 5 from our school district. So congratulations to all of them. That's all I have.
That's it. All right. Public comment. We don't have any public here tonight, so we'll move on to agenda items. We need a motion and a second to approve our meeting from January 28th. Approval of those minutes.
So second.
Got a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, financial report. Claims and payroll. Anything there? Anybody have concerns or anything, Chris, you have there?
No, everything's pretty typical. From a payroll standpoint, this next pay, we won't see any changes, but after that, we'll see some changes just due to winter sports ending and getting those coaches' claims paid out. in the next couple payrolls, you'll start to see an increase.
Any questions or anything anybody have? No? Can I get a motion and second to approve claims and payroll number 14?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and second to approve claims and payroll number 14. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Financial summary.
So just the end of the month balances, so this would be our first report in January. So you can see there on that first column is what we ended 2024 with. So that means we started with that in 2025 in January 1. And then on the far right, the ending balance is where that is at the end of the month for January. So just kind of continue to give you updated looks on that each month on where those balances continue to fluctuate, where we pay a little more specific attention to the cash flow with education fund and operation fund, because those are our bigger fund sources.
Any questions on that? No? All right, we'll move on to HR report. I don't think we have much there either. We don't have any resignations. Got under employment, J.C. Crum as assistant softball coach for Norfolk High School, effective immediately. Madison Bartu, volunteer assistant tennis coach, effective immediately. And Chase Sadler, a custodian at Southwood High School, effective 2/12. All those in favor of, or get a motion and second to approve that.
Move to the slide. Oh, second time.
A motion and second to approve our HR. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, Matt.
Nothing is now.
Nothing?
Haven't had a meeting since, well, from next week. That's my.
Have we gotten anywhere on that roof, or I guess I missed
There,
last week?
we're paying.
Yeah, so we,
Yeah.
at the next claims, you'll see our first installment for the roof payment.
So is this gonna be done this
This
year?
summer.
This
Yep.
summer?
And everything is on schedule. We had our meeting last week, Friday, and everything's on schedule. We just have to wait for the weather to break.
Good. Mike.
I have a few things. First of all, I want to go back to the 1003 flexibility waivers. We have two of them. Don't want to confuse them, but we have one that's for our professional development days. We won't talk a little more about that right now, but we have another one that actually goes along with our e-learning days. And so the state allows us to have 3 asynchronous days. All right. Our 1003 flexibility waiver allows us to have 5 additional asynchronous days. Okay. But if we would have more than 8 days that we cancel because of inclement weather, then we would have one of two things that we could do. We've already decided we would not make those days up at the end of the year, but we would go to asynchronous synchronous, sync days. And along those same lines, we have developed a plan. The schools know about the plan, but we haven't shared anything with the parents yet. And the big reason is we don't believe at the time that we'd have 8 days out. Now, of course, the weather meteorologist always talks about all these storms that come along, like the one that's coming now, maybe this weekend, maybe another one next week. But it seems like they always blow them all up and they're not really that bad. So just kind of want to just share a little bit to say that we do have a plan. We are going to reevaluate what we do with sharing this with our public, with our parents, probably maybe Thursday, Friday, to see if anything is really happening next week, because there's no reason to get people confused about what we're doing unless we really feel like it's going to happen. And so we do have a very good plan. Like I said, the principals have all shared that with their teachers. And it's something we haven't done for a long time. If you remember during COVID time, we did have what we would call sync days or synchronous days. We're going to try to make it a little bit easier. Instead of saying asynchronous and synchronous, we're using the terminology e-learning, which is typically what we do when we have a inclement weather day. And then we're going to call them sync days, just to make it a little bit easier to remember. So e-learning and sync. So just kind of letting you guys know, and like I said, Thursday morning, I have a calendar reminder for me to think about what's going to happen and see if we need to worry about anything. But we've only had 3 days, so we still have 5 days that we can go e-learning. Probably will not use 5 more days, but you just never know. And so we want to be prepared. So we will reevaluate this, what we're going to do as far as that communication. So just wanted to share that with you. Also, last meeting, I did share that we were thinking about YGAN coming to present, but instead of them coming, because there's not a lot of new things, well, there's a lot going on, but we won't have them come until March. And so actually you can see on the screen, I want to show this a little bit, but also I want to share a couple of other things. Just as a reminder, Senate Bill number 1, if it was passed, could affect us a lot, could affect the county a lot. So I have talked with the chair of the commissioners and also the chair of the county council. They have the information too. I'm going down to see legislators tomorrow and talk a little bit more about this. It's definitely concerned if the way it's written right now, if it was passed. But there are certain people, and even the Republicans said that it would be really hard to bite off that much at one time as far as reducing those property taxes where counties and schools would be hurt quite a bit, because that's what pays for fire service and police service and schools and all those different things. So just kind of sharing that again, letting you know what's going on. And then want to give you good news. We have our ADM count was February 3rd. And so we're up 33 students from our October. So it's always good when we see that increase. So, and I'll send you the specifics later on, but that's what the big number as far as the additional is really, really good. And then finally, just want to show this short video. If you haven't been around and seen some of that, if you do go around when it's muddy, it's a little muddy, but that shows progress, right? So we'll go ahead and show you this. So you can see basically there's a lot more going on now. They have other walls up, but this is a little older video. You can see all the foundations. It kind of gives you a little bit different idea. They don't have all the foundation in this picture, but they're starting the gym. I think they have the west part done. I'm gonna stop right there. So this is the neat. Right here. So it's kind of neat because they show a little overlay. And as you can tell, though, they haven't finished it all the way to the east there, as far as with the wrestling and with the STEM room and different things like that. But it gives you a little idea. You can actually, I guess I can't do it here. I can do it on the computer, but it shows actual classrooms and label things like that. So it gives you a little overlay of what that is. So of course you know those designs. So I'll show you. A lot of prep work to get to that point. Not real glamorous yet. A lot of concrete. So anyway, progress. And if you've been around though, you can see that they have quite a lot more block work done right now. So a lot more than what shows there. That just shows the one. So
And a couple of material walls done,
Yeah.
basically now.
And you can see, especially if you go into Sharp Creek and look to the east end, you can see the office area and different things like that when you first go in. So good progress. All right, that's all I have.
All right, Tim?
Yeah, I mentioned it before about we're getting K-5 reading curriculum, and so we're staying right on schedule. And the two names we have are Wonders and Benchmark Advance. And so those are the two best ones that our committee, and just to remind you, the committee has 8 teachers from Metro North, Sharp Creek, and Southwood Elementary, K through 5. And so we went to the textbook caravan in Fort Wayne, heard some presentations, got lots of samples, and met here in this office just a few days ago. And those are the 2 in front. And so we will invite parents and community members to check it out. And so we will keep printed samples here until somebody checks them out for the next 4 weeks. We can send digital resources. I can send logins and that kind of stuff to see that. And so, yeah, we welcome any kind of input from those people. We have then the next steps. Looking ahead to March, we have a professional development day, and so our committee and teachers will have a chance to really have their final say. And then the winner of that vote, we will bring here to the board on March 25th for your formal approval. So one of those 2. And then with that purchase, we'll look to try to get teacher training on those materials in May.
And just for fun, I think Mr. Drake would approve of this too. The samples that we are not going to look at, or that we've already looked at, that are no longer in use, we have them right out there in a little wagon. So if you'd like to take something home with you,
Great volunteer.
some weights, you can take some of those home with you. So.
You mentioned you narrowed it to 2, or that it's printed up there.
Yeah.
How many did you start with there?
7.
7?
Started with 7. And for one reason or another, there was one program that was very good. I won't say its name publicly, but it was very good. However, our teachers were not happy with the way the content was delivered. Just some pictures and some stories and content choices for kids at that age. And so we've eliminated materials for that reason. Others, they don't have enough small group. Others don't have phonics. And so there's just a lot. It's a lot. Like picking a K-5 reading curriculum may be the biggest challenge we had as a district, because, kindergartners are learning their phonemic awareness and what sounds and those things. And then by 5th grade, we're reading to understand and try to understand bias. And so, but the teachers, we have an amazing group. And so I like that. But we started with 7. It wasn't very hard to get down to 3 or 4. And then from 3 or 4 to there, down to 2. We have vendor trainers from those 2 vendors coming here. Actually, one's coming Thursday, and they're going to walk our teachers through how you would present a lesson using this material, and so they get a real good deep feeling for that. And our goal is to find a reading curriculum K-5. There's always that backup. If we get through this and we don't like it, we will not purchase something just to purchase it. And so the committee was very appreciative of that, because they know it's this is probably one of the more expensive purchases we make. And so there's always a plan B, and so we're not locked in, but based on the ones we found now, those are the 2 best ones. And so they're good, and so it's not like we're looking at bad material, but just when we get into it, if we're like, man, that doesn't really fit what we want, we'll keep looking. But we're gonna kick the tires for the next 4 weeks.
If it turns out to be a good choice, how long would you anticipate before you roll again to another?
So we're gonna try to follow the old 6-year pattern. And so for those of us that new board members maybe remember that, Indiana used to have a very strong, consistent 6-year pattern. And so this year you would buy ELA K through 5, English language arts. Next year you'll do English language arts 6 through 12, and so on. And so you had like a 6-year cycle, and then it would start all the way over again. With the devices and stuff, we kind of got a little off of that, but we're going to try to kind of blend a little better between both now. Keep the devices and where we need to get some more material in teachers' hands, try to do that. And so it'll be a 6-year purchase, and it's, like I said, you'll notice it when it comes across claims. But we've worked, I've talked to Chris a lot about it. We've, I don't know how to say the right word, we've got funds for it, we've set aside, it's in the budget. Yeah, 6 years, I guess, is the short answer to your long question. Yeah, and I think most people in the public, I feel like their concern is always the content first, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel very, very confident in the people we have. That's not even a concern really, because I think that gets eliminated pretty quickly.
So do these books, will they go home?
So yes, both of these vendors have books that go home, they'll have books in their classrooms, they'll have digital visual components to it, and so,
I
but
guess-
more so, not like you're thinking, maybe, like, it's not like a high school kid who checks a book out from the library, takes on a chapter book, because you're talking about kindergartners and stuff, and so they might have workbook pages to put in their folders to take home, or those kind of things, and as the kids get older, they might get some chapter books for that.
I just, seeing how we're not getting to charge for books or anything like that, I just, look at, okay, how many will get lost or damaged or things like that if they're going home, and so that's why I was wondering if those will.
That's a great question. Most of the stuff you send home will be consumable stuff, where we'll get a new one next year. So most of that will stay in the classroom, like the printed books and things.
But that's one thing that we can do. If you do have, if there was a textbook and if they would lose a textbook or damage textbook, we are still allowed to charge for that, to replace that, but not the initial one. They don't have to be charged for that. So, they
That's
can't
what
just destroy them. So, well, they can, but they have to pay.
And so if you have anybody in the community that asks or whatever, just have them contact me rather than their principals, because I'm gonna try to keep that here so it's easier to send it.
Centralized.
Yeah.
All right,
Last one.
all right, I guess we're done with reports. Yeah, we got one more.
Yeah, under new business, and I might have school attorney help me a little bit with this, but I will start out by saying that we, MSD of Wabash County, has been part of along with other school districts, a part of a civil suit with Juul, which is a vaping. We've been a part of that for many, many years, and I continue to communicate with them. They continue to say that it's going to be very soon, but the last time very soon was a year and a half ago, November 23rd, as far as that settlement. I think it was settled, but I just don't think they have paid out yet. So that's one that's going on right now. We also were a part of the social media claim. And going into this one, we have found out most recently there are a lot of other requirements with that we don't necessarily know that it will be beneficial to us to be able to spend the time for not just the people here in our central office, but into our schools to be a part of that. And so the recommendation that I'm bringing to you is that we just abandon that social media claim, and then Mr. Pretender would share that.
Yeah,
with
I can
them, and so.
add a couple thoughts to
Yes,
that.
thank you.
The social media one, to me, on its face, always seemed a lot more speculative than the Juul one. My understanding is it's basically all the same law firms that had success in the Juul one, just kind of started to look and see, what can we do? I don't know if they've even told us in the Juul one what the dollar figure per school is. I have a feeling they've been delicately sidestepping the answer on that. Is that the case?
They gave me a number that's below that number, so in other words, it could be $1. But I mean, in reality, it could be $1, but I know it would be more than $1, but yeah.
And then I recently forwarded on to Mike and Chris what the council on our side in the social media was requesting from us as far as extracting documents, preserving documents, and it did on its face look pretty labor intensive on our side. And so I think when I sent that matched with Mike's experience on what they would call a success in the Juul case, that's when the idea came up of whether or not it's really worth it to do this.
So here again, it's just a recommendation that we abandon that claim. So thank you for that. Any questions?
All right, any questions on any of that? Makes sense to me. All right. Get a motion to approve to abandon the social media claim. Motion second.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion second to approve that we abandon the social media claim. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Unfinished business, any board policy? No public comment. Items from board members?
Can't make this too short.
This weekend.
I would just say on school board policy, there was a suggestion made, and so I did send that out to everybody. So Mr. Driscoll, I will talk to you later about that to see if you want, and everybody, if we want to bring that to the table as far as a vote. Because I did some research on it. I did give some examples of what we could do to just basically communicate a little bit more information that's out there. It's not really a huge change necessarily, but it's more just about communication so people are aware of that particular policy. Won't mention it right now, but after we have that conversation, if you want, I can put that back. I mean, I can put it on the policy a recommendation. We can discuss it for the first reading and then vote on it the second reading. Okay? There, I made it a little bit longer.
Happy?
All right. If not, we'll adjourn.
6:26.
Yes, we can.